Alrighty, folks, welcome into the After Schrock. Thanks for joining us here after the program. I forgot to, we kind of ran out of time at the end of the show, so I didn't have time to tell everybody to come on in for the After Schrock like I normally do. My clock, for some reason, was 10 seconds off over here, and all of a sudden, Emily across the board, she goes like this, and I'm like, 10 seconds. Oh boy, that's time to wrap. Let's go. So we got her all wrapped up. So sorry about that. But anyway, first off, I want to put out a call for questions. So if any of you have questions, things that we didn't get answered during the show, I didn't have a lot of, there was a lot of news this week and a lot of content in the show. So I didn't have a ton of time to pop off to the side and grab questions. I tried to do that during the commercial breaks and answer the questions at least there. I noticed one question from Carolyn. She had posted a question about Secure Updater, and she said it always seems to be red all the time. Why is that? It can't update Chrome. Secure Updater cannot update programs if the program is open. And we could force it to do that, but the reason we chose not to is if you're in the middle of doing something on the internet and all of a sudden Secure Updater discovers an update, it would close your internet browser, you'd lose all your work, it would install the update, and then you'd have to open your internet browser again and then start your work over again. That's not going to be a really great way to win customers. So there are some programs that we do not force end, like web browsers, Google Chrome, for example. You have to actually restart your computer or choose to close Google Chrome before the update can proceed. So that's why it's still red, Carolyn. Hi, Marilyn, or Marianne, excuse me. I'm sorry, Marianne. Good morning, Dennis. Good to have you here. Doing well. I hope you guys are holding up well there in Florida. I heard that there was an issue with some of the COVID numbers in some of those counties down there. They count those numbers like they count ballots, apparently. All right. Good morning, Compute This and Aftershock are a great way to start a Sunday morning. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you joining us here on the show. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Good morning, Deborah. Top fan, Deborah. Whoop, Deborah's in the house. Good morning again from Omaha. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. Good to have you all with us here this morning. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about? We've got all kinds of craziness in the world around us. I've got a Des Moines service center that we're opening and that we are dropping a redonkulous amount of money into marketing to carpet bomb that place. We've got new hires coming into Omaha this week from Des Moines that we're putting up in hotels. First time I've ever had to buy hotel rooms for my employees. That's new this year. Everything's new in 2020. Let's see, what else do we got? Of course, there's progress on the Des Moines Service Center. I don't know why it freaked me out, but we brought the whole crew down to work in the service center. So my wife came with me. We brought all three of the kiddos because our babysitter just quit with no notice. So happy day there. So we brought the kiddos, everything like that. They were on their bikes running around and playing with their toys, and they were great. They did so good. Kim and I were putting furniture together. We were doing all the things that have to go into a service center. And yes, we have employees who could be doing that instead of us. The thing is, it's so geographically distant, and my truck was so loaded with stuff I can't throw a bunch of extra people in the truck. We actually had to drive 2 vehicles down to Des Moines to get the crew of kiddos down there. So anyway, we got everything figured out, everything taken care of, and we stopped at the end and we turned around and looked, and it was the weirdest feeling because it's starting to look like a service center. It's starting to look like a little clone of Papillion. Well, actually, a big clone of Papillion. It's the best of both worlds because Papillion is a warehouse facility for our service centers. A lot of their stuff is taken up with record storage, inventory shelves, all the Christmas decorations, stuff like that. This service center has the bench spaces of the Omaha Service Center in a footprint the size of Papillion. So it's about a 1,600 square foot bay with 40 bench spots. And my wife the other day, this was haunting me for a while, well, not this previous Wednesday, but the Wednesday before when we were down there working. She says, Thor, do you think maybe you overbuilt a little bit? And it was just one of those like passing thoughts, but it ate at me. I was like, am I expecting too much? Like, is 40 bench spots overkill? Are they going to all sit idle? Are we going to spend more time cleaning them than working on them? Oh boy, what if we do? What if we don't have? All those doubts started to creep in. Anybody who's open to business knows what I'm talking about. That little voice in your head that's like, you planned this, you're taking calculated risks. There's always risk. All you try to do is minimize the possibility of failure as much as you can by taking calculated, measured risks. But there's always that little voice in the back of your head that says, maybe you bet wrong. Maybe you should have waited another year to let the COVID thing finish up. Hopefully. But at the time it started, we were going to wait 14 days for the COVID thing to fix. Then we were going to wait till the end of the month. Then we were going to wait till the end of the next month. Then we were going to wait till summer because the heat was going to kill it. Then now we're going to wait until back to school. And now it's back to school, and we're going to have a shortened football season now. Maybe by Christmas it'll be gone, but isn't that the flu season? Won't it get worse? Yeah, I don't know. When will we get back to normal? Is this really a new normal? And then all your head starts swimming with all these questions and things like that, and you're like, do we have enough masks? I've got a box of 50 for each service center of those disposable kind. We have masks that are issued, cloth masks that are issued to our staff. Am I doing enough? Are we sanitizing enough? We haven't been able to buy Lysol forever. We have to make our own sanitizing spray, for heaven's sake. Because I will not spray that insecticide biological sanitizer agent on computer surfaces. We tried it. It killed the touchscreen on one of our phones. $300 phone. Not a hand like one of the desk phones. That has the touchscreen interface on it. It blew the touchscreen off. So I'm not going to use that stuff on a customer's computer. Are you kidding me? So no, we got to make something that's safe for the computers. A lot of people don't realize you can't spray Lysol on touchscreen surfaces. It doesn't work. Capacitive touchscreen surfaces. It doesn't. It causes all kinds of damage to the digitizer over time. Nobody tells you that on the bottle. And it's not so bad if you wipe it off, but then it's not sanitizing. So why are you wasting Lysol? And if you don't wipe it off and you let it sit on the screen, that's when it does the damage. Great. Safe for most surfaces. So yeah, so that was sticking with me. Is like, did we overbuild? Did we overbuild? Then we interviewed a couple people, one senior technician, one junior technician. One of them had experience with two of our local competitors, and he was telling us how many computers they check in a day, and it was mind-boggling. It is more than any of our service centers individually do. On some days, it was as many as all three of our service centers do at a time. Well, then I started freaking out in the other direction. Like, maybe we underbuilt. Maybe I had, what are we going to... Then I had to approve the marketing budget. In the middle of a pandemic, where you don't know what's going to happen with reality from week to week, we had, and I won't give you the exact numbers, but let's just say on the TV portion of this marketing budget alone, we are going to reach everybody in the Des Moines metro area. I shouldn't say everybody. Let me be accurate. We're going to reach 80% of the individual people in the Des Moines metropolitan area 2.8 times a month just on TV. That does not count the commercial schedule we're going to be running on WHO. That does not count the commercial schedule we're going to be running on two separate radio stations. Addition to that, that does not count the morning show endorsements we're going to be doing on two other radio stations aside from that. It is absolutely epic what we're going to do in Des Moines. There shouldn't be a single person in Des Moines that is not familiar with our name by the time we're done. And it costs as much as a small home to do that in the middle of a pandemic when you don't know what's going to happen next. And we wrote the check. Are you sure, Thor? What if COVID gets serious and nobody wants to come in for the grand opening? What if people get scared? What if it's not really serious but people get scared? What if it is really serious and people don't get scared? You can twist your mind around this any way you want to, but yeah, I mean, fortune favors the bold, I guess. So we're going to do it. We're going to move forward, and we are going to open this Des Moines Service Center. We have customers who have been patiently waiting for us. We were going to do this last year. We put it off. I wasn't going to put it off another year. And internally, we have another schedule that we're following internally for our expansion that we have to stick to. If we want to get to the place we want to go, if we want to grow to the size of the company that we want to be from our business perspective, we have to hit these goals. And one of the first step is this test in Des Moines. Does this system work? We're going to make mistakes. We're going to learn from those mistakes so that when we do Kansas City next, we'll have it down pat.
So anyway, let's jump in and see if there's any questions here to cover real quick. Good morning, Carolyn from Round Rock. I have not forgotten about Round Rock, Carolyn. Round Rock, Texas. I have not forgotten about it. Although I saw a really impressive video from the governor of South Dakota about why I should locate my business in South Dakota. If you haven't looked at this video, Google South Dakota governor business video, and it'll pop right up at the top. But she's talking about how now some of the language she uses, like, we're doing great in South Dakota because we gave our people their freedom back, which of course insinuates you have the authority to take their freedom away in the first place, but again, splitting hairs. But she makes South Dakota look like, where is the Nebraska Tourism Board? Come on, look at this video. Why aren't we doing things like this in Nebraska? Why isn't Iowa doing videos like this? We're open. Iowa's open. Why aren't we doing these things? South Dakota looks like a paradise. It looks like the Garden of Eden with manufacturing added. It's like, wow, I should move my family and my business to South Dakota. It's an amazingly good video, and you watch it and it makes you feel good. And you know how few things you can watch on the internet right now that make you actually feel good? Like, wow, that's a good news story of a successful state doing successful things. I like to see that. I want to see more of that. I want to see good news. But all you see is the bad news, right? Or the bad news about the bad news. Like, you either hear that COVID is going to kill us all, or you hear about the guy who was killed in a motorcycle accident who was deemed to have died from COVID because he tested positive for COVID post-mortem. Or you hear about the fact that we don't have enough test kits to test people, yet they're testing dead bodies for COVID. Interesting. And you go down that rabbit hole, and then you just feel like garbage. And your friends are posting about masks on Facebook, and some people are upset about it, and some people are posting pictures of people peeing, like little cartoon characters, like, this is why you should wear a mask. Billy is smart. Billy wears a mask. And you're just like, oh my gosh. If one more person tells me I'm an idiot because I don't want to wear a mask, I'll be upset. If one more person tells me that you're an idiot for wearing a mask, I'm going to be upset. I don't want to hear about it anymore. If the business I need to go to tells me to wear a mask, no skin off my back, I'm going to wear the mask. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I'm not going to take time to, Karen on people who aren't wearing masks. It doesn't bother me. Whatever, do your thing. But if they don't wear a mask, they're going to kill us all. Step back off the drama for a second, okay? Calm down. If you're one of the people who's wearing a face mask and gloves while you drive by yourself in your car down the street, you might need to talk to somebody, like a mental health professional. It doesn't come in through the vents. I don't know. So I guess my wife was like, Thor, don't go down that rabbit hole today. So I better pull myself out of the rabbit hole because, oh man, you can get lost in there. And it's just, use good common sense. Use good common sense, and chances are you will be fine. Because this is a pandemic that does not kill 99.8% of the people that it infects. Maybe that 37.4% of statistics are completely made up anyway. But as we know from Florida. No, needless to say, guys, it's, you don't know what's going to happen next. And one of the things that I have come to accept, regardless of how anybody feels about COVID, no matter how much the news media is inflaming or not inflaming or whatever your position is, it doesn't matter. How right or wrong you are does not matter. When you're a business owner, the only thing that matters is how people feel. If my customers feel comfortable in my service centers, I've done my job. If my customers are angry with me when they come into my service centers, I have not done my job. So how on earth do you accommodate people who are angry when they don't see people wearing masks, or who are angry when they see people wearing masks? It seems like you can't make everybody happy here. Well, here's the difference. The social distancing, they said maintain a 6-foot distance. There's absolutely no science that says 6 feet protects you from anything. But that's what makes people feel safe, so that's what we're going to do. And guess what? In our service centers, we usually have 3 employees in a 1,600 square foot space. One of them is in a separate room up front. The other 2 are in the back on opposite sides of the room. They have opposite sides of a 6-foot wide table to stand on to work on 2 different computers. It is not hard to keep them all 6 feet apart. They don't have to wear masks all day long. If they are collaborating, if they are in a situation where they cannot be 6 feet apart, yes, then we don the masks. If we're helping a customer, we don the mask. If we go on site and a customer wants us to wear a mask, we put the mask on. Unless the customer tells us to take it off, we don't take it off. We know that the masks don't protect us. My people are not any safer for wearing a mask. But because a lot of my guys are younger and the perception is that young people carry this disease like the plague and infect all of the baby boomers around them to kill them, it would probably be a good idea for them to wear a mask to put everybody at ease. And if that one person is super upset about us wearing a mask, we'll take it off. We don't want to wear it. Nobody wants to wear the mask. Yeah. So whatever makes people feel comfortable is the right thing to do. And that's what we're going to do. Now, who is stirring up all the stuff that makes people feel uncomfortable? That's a whole different rabbit hole that I promised my wife I would not go down. All right. Yeah, Dennis says that they're making up the Florida numbers. If you guys haven't heard the story that we're referring to, a Fox reporter, actually, not a Fox News reporter, but a local Fox affiliate. This would be in Omaha, like KPTM, Fox 42 investigating something. But the Fox affiliate went into the health department and actually started going through the COVID numbers. And they found that one health department in Florida had a 100% positivity rate. Now that meant every single person that got tested was positive. So either you have the pandemic of all pandemics on your hands, or the testing kits are bad, or something isn't right. So they dug into the actual individual tests and they found that the tests were actually only about like 9.6% positive. So the tests were working, but somehow the data was being misreported as 100% positive. Another county was 98% positive. So now the reporters are digging into all the numbers and the health departments are like, oh no. And here's the thing that kills you. It's like you want to be responsible. You want to take this seriously. You want to make sure you're doing what's right. It makes it incredibly difficult to make logical, informed decisions, whether you're a governor of a state or a business owner or an individual parent trying to send their kids back to school. It makes it virtually impossible to know what is safe and what is not safe when the very departments that you are counting on to compile and report the numbers are purposefully lying about them. Case in point. Why would somebody lie about the numbers? Why would you do that? Why would you want people to feel more uneasy than they are? Why would you want the economy to shut down again? Now we're in conspiracy theory territory. But I'll just point out the fact that at the CDC, 8,000 people made individual donations to campaigns 2015 to present. There have been 8,000 contributions, personal contributions, made by individuals who work at the CDC to political campaigns. They are perfectly within their right to donate to any person, campaign candidate they want to. It is their free right to do so. But we will point out, when we're looking at motivational things, that of the 8,000 individual contributions that were made to political candidates, 5 were made to Republicans. Not 5%, 5 out of 8,000. In other words, 7,995 contributions went to non-Republican candidates. 5% went to Republican candidates. It's hard to look at that number and then look at what's happening in health departments and look at what's happening with the CDC numbers and say there's not a political motivation here to make this look really bad 107 days outside of an election. It's hard. It's just really hard to look at that and just believe that these are genuinely good people who have the public's interest at heart. That's what I want to believe. I want to believe that the people at the CDC and the people at the health departments are here to help us be safe. They're here to do their job, just like everybody else goes to work and does their job. Not trying to create a narrative or having... I can't understand why, and if it was one county, you could say, okay, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe there was one activist somewhere giving everybody a black eye or a bad name. That happens to everybody. But multiple counties? Come on. What's going on? All righty. Good morning, Cheryl and Rich in Council Bluffs. Good to have you on board. Hello, Mitch. What's a good kind of laptop to get whenever they decide to get them back in stock again? Okay, so basically, when you buy a laptop, there's primarily two big brands. Most people are going to buy an HP or a Dell. There are other brands like Sony, and then there's the Microsoft Surface, and there's lots of smaller brands. But the two biggies are Dell and HP. Now, the brand that we sell at Schrock is Asus. Now, here's the reason why. Asus has a side company called Pegatron. And Pegatron makes all of the motherboards that go into HPs and Dells. So the Pegatron company, Asus doesn't want to stamp their own high-end brand name on the motherboards that they're making for Asus and Dell. The reason is because Asus and Dell will save a nickel taking anything off they possibly can, and the laptops, as a result, are only lasting 18 to 24 months before they have to be replaced. Asus, on the other hand, they make the motherboards already, but they leave the ports on the ones that they sell with the Asus brand name. So we sell Asus laptops because it's the same gear, the same boards that you're going to get in all the other major brand laptops, but with all of the features put back onto the board. So you're going to get the higher quality resistors. You're going to get the USB-C ports and the extra USB 3 ports. You're going to get the HDMI outputs. You're going to get all the things that you don't get in some of the HP and Dell models. That's why different models, that's why the Inspiron 5000, for example, can be a $399 laptop on Black Friday or a $1,500 holiday special when we sell it. Because there's so much room to move. They have the one unibody, and they just change the ports and the quality of the board inside. That's the only thing they're changing. Everything else is the same. So anyway, what's a good brand to buy? I would recommend buying an Asus laptop, specifically an Asus laptop that's been tricked out by us at Schrock. Reason being, Asus laptops have great core boards in them. Everything else blows. So they give you a super slow 5400 RPM hard drive. They give you super slow memory. They give you the old style solid state hard drive, not the current generation, the triple layer drives, or you might know them as 3D NAND drives. They don't give you that. They give you the slower stuff. So what we do is when we get those Asus laptops in, we strip all the slow stuff out, we get rid of it, and we put in fast stuff. That's why our Asus laptops at Schrock boot so much faster than everybody else's. That's why they last so much longer than everybody else's. That's why we're willing to put a warranty on them that you can renew year after year after year and get your money back on if you don't use, because we know they're high quality laptops and they're not going to break willy-nilly on you. Every laptop wears out, the batteries wear out, things like that, but it's a matter of how long is it going to last. The other thing is all the major manufacturers have stopped covering batteries as well. We still cover them at Schrock, so if your battery does fail while you're under warranty, we will replace it for you under the warranty, which is kind of neat. Send me any Bitcoin anyone does not want to have to track anymore, and you will not have to worry about Bitcoin scams any longer, says Mark. That's a that's a good point, Mark. I know. I'm sorry, lovely Kimberly. I didn't fall in the rabbit hole. I more twisted my ankle in it and then pulled myself out before it was too late. So I stopped. All right, have you made any decisions on what will be installed in the holiday special desktop? All right, this is a great question, Mark. We have not yet, no. The holiday special desktop is going to go into pre-production planning in August. We usually build our prototypes in September and release them at the end of October. Right now, all of my attention is going into the Des Moines Service Center, getting it up, getting it ready, getting staff hired, getting staff trained, making sure that the staff we hire and train are genuinely good people. And I believe we've got a couple really good eggs right now that are coming on board. So we're taken up by that a little bit. And the other thing is I'm really terrified to look, honestly. The desktop doesn't have me worried. We can innovate our way out of a paper bag on a desktop. The laptop has me terrified. I am not sure what we're going to have to offer or what price point we're going to be able to offer a laptop this year, just because everything is sold out everywhere. Now the good news here is the expensive laptops are still around, but the problem is if we have to buy the laptop, we sell these laptops at cost, right? So we're buying one for $14.99. I don't know how much flexibility there is to sell it for $18.99 or $19.99 if they raise the prices on us, which is happening right now. So my hope is the supply chain norms out and everything goes back to normal-ish price-wise, which will never go back down to the price it was. It's always going to be higher now going forward, but at least down to a reasonable level where we can still buy these things without having to hike the price. So that's what's freaking me out right now. You're essential and people will need help. People will need their IT fixed more than ever. You made the right call. You know, Dennis, I think you're right. We did become kind of essential in a weird way. We aren't medical. And I was kind of, I don't know, in other segments I've kind of, you know, you're a hero for working during COVID. I'm not a hero any more than the guy at the checkout lane at Home Depot is a hero, okay? We're not heroes, okay? People who go to work and do their job, they're not a hero. Now, I will set aside medical people who are walking into an infected COVID ward with a paper mask on their face. Okay, that takes some guts. I'm going to give you hero status there. You know, me going to work, I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I'm just doing my job. Now, if I could be a hero to other people, heck yeah, that'd be great. But I'm not going to sit here and have some inflated sense of self-worth because I am essential because I'm a hero. You know, let other people be the heroes. So I'm going to come do my job. I'm going to do my job. Dennis, I think, don't you run a computer repair shop in the Villages, Dennis? I mean, you really want us to come to the Villages? Because you know that's where we would go, right? My wife is eager for the Florida location as well once Disney opens back up fully. Oh, gotcha. All righty. The sound on iPhone while watching a video on Facebook stops after 30 seconds. How can I change this? You know, I don't know that, Keith. I don't know why you're scrolling around on the screen, because I know if you scroll up and down, it'll move. I wonder if after 30 seconds your screen is dimming or something, if there's a screen timeout feature. Check your, that's what I would check first. Check your screen timeout and make sure it's not set to dim at 30 seconds or something. Or you're not looking at the phone, because I think the iPhone, like the Samsung phones, can detect when you're looking at it. All right. Our daughter lives in Pierre, South Dakota, super state. I'm telling you, that video was boss. I got to find a link to that. I'm going to find a link to that really quick so I can give you a copy of it here. Let's see. South Dakota Governor Business Video. Let's see what that comes up with. There is no place in America like South Dakota. There it is. All right, I'm opening it right now so I can get you a link. Copy. But I don't need to hear from Christy right now. So we're going to pause Christy. And whoever did the video production did a great job with the video production too. It was really, really a nicely done piece. But there's the link to the South Dakota video if you want to take a look at it. I'd recommend it. It's a good feel-good America video. It really is. All right. South Dakota is too cold in the winter. Golf 12 months of a year in Round Rock. Yeah, and you get the same tax benefits in Round Rock, too, as you do in South Dakota. That's awesome. Oh, golly, that's a good one. All right, Emory, South Dakota. Great little city to live in. No state income tax either. You know, there's a lot of small towns in South Dakota. This is what I hear anyway. You guys from South Dakota can tell me this, but there's a lot of small towns in South Dakota that all the storefronts on the main street are all rented out, and there's just like one person sitting in there at a desk, and it's like the Pfizer headquarters. And they're saying we're headquartered in South Dakota so that we don't pay state sales tax. Because every other state where we don't have to pay sales taxes, we're headquartered in South Dakota. I don't know if that's true or not, but you guys can let me know if small town South Dakota has a lot of office space taken right now. All righty. Yep, common sense. That's right, Deborah. Hospitals get more everything when the numbers are high. You know, Keith, you might think that, but actually hospitals get run out of business when the numbers are high because COVID patients don't have insurance or don't pay their bills, or the ridiculous cost of taking care of them doesn't get fully recouped by the hospital. I don't know why, but hospitals that stop all their elective procedures to treat COVID patients, they go out of business. That's why hospitals got a lot of the PPP and the emergency loans and everything like that, because they were literally going out of business because they make money on the elective procedures, and the life-saving procedures are really expensive. They don't make money on those. So they had money going out and no money coming in, which was a big, big problem. So honestly, I think the hospitals might actually benefit from lower numbers. And the other thing that I was talking to a guy in the data recovery field, another professional in the field that owns a company in Ohio, and I was asking, what's going on in Ohio. And he said, yeah, they made face masks mandatory last week, whatever. And we were talking about the hospitals, and I was like, let me give you an analogy about. So whenever you hear that the hospital ICUs are full, when you run a data recovery company, you have pieces of equipment. We'll just call them imagers. They're pieces of equipment designed to extract data from hard drives. They're incredibly expensive, and they make no money for you while they sit idle. Therefore, a data recovery company, at Schrock, we have 2 imagers. 3 if we use the one that isn't fun to use. So we have 2 to 3, right? So we have 2 with a surge capacity of 3, okay? 33% surge capacity is not too bad. Or is it 50%? I don't know. Anyway, we don't have imagers sitting around doing nothing, because why would you do that? Why would you have a bunch of ventilators sitting around with no one to ventilate? Why would you have a whole bunch of ICU beds sitting around with no one to take care of? You have the number of ICU beds that you think you're going to need in a normal situation. Now you throw a pandemic at it, and yeah, the ICUs are supposed to be full normally, or near full. We don't want to waste, right? We don't want to waste capacity, waste space, waste equipment, waste nurses. We plan for how much we need, and that's how much we have. Now, a pandemic comes along and screws up those numbers a little bit. So it can be really scary to hear that the ICUs are all full, but keep in mind, the ICUs were designed to be full. That's what's supposed to be happening. Now, if you hear the ICUs are overflowing, that's something different. So, I don't know, just keep it in mind. All right, election year. Dems are pulling all the stops to Trump. Well, you know what? I can't blame them. That's what they're there to do, right? And Trump's doing his thing, and they're doing their thing, and I don't think it's a Democrat conspiracy to make coronavirus seem really bad. I can't understand why a health department would misreport the numbers intentionally. It's irresponsible. I mean, it's people are basing life and death in decisions, and if that really is true, Keith, that individuals are deciding to do this of their own accord for political reasons of one side or the other, they should be fired. They don't need to be there. That's not what the job is about. The job is about saving people's lives and giving people good data to work from, not trying to massage the data to get the outcome that you want. If you want to look at a crazy boat, look at this link. 2 jet engines is only $500,000. Well, you know what, Ronald? I'm not a water mammal. I'm a land mammal. I play in the pool with the kids, but I don't enjoy water sports. I don't enjoy swimming. I couldn't pass a Boy Scout swim test if you asked me to. Yeah, I just not my thing. Alrighty. If you come to the villages, Dennis says, I'll merge with you and we'll run this area. I think we won best of the best in 2 counties. I'll find out next month. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the offer. I've never had this is the first marriage proposal I've ever had on Facebook, Dennis. I mean, seriously, you're talking about a holy union of our 2 organizations here, and I appreciate that. I'm just giving you a hard time. All right, we've been recommending Synology, NAS for business and residential. Do you have a brand preference for NAS? I don't have a brand preference. The only thing about the Synology ones that be careful with is they are so widely used, they get attacked a lot. Make sure if there is a software patch that Synology releases for those, that you have an avenue to communicate that to your customers, because if you're selling a lot of them, you're going to have a lot of customers wondering why their stuff blew up in their face when you told them it wasn't going to. Alrighty, guys. Last call for questions. We're going to wrap this one up. Got to get home. Got kiddos that need tended to, breakfasts that need to be made, and my wife didn't get a lot of sleep last night because the lovely Kimberly was awakened not once, but twice, but 3 times by Littles, and she chose to let me sleep, which means I need to make sure I get home and take care of her now. So, last call for questions, and we're going to wrap it up. Please make sure you take a moment to vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. I really do appreciate this, and we are genuinely giving away one of these laptops for free. So, It's one of our Intrepid laptops. You can look at all the specifications on our website. It's actually better than the laptop that we gave away last year. A lot better. Last year we gave away the Resolute laptop. The Resolute's not a bad laptop. It's just not upgradable. It's the one that we carry in stock so that we have something to answer when people say, what do you have that's like what Best Buy has? That's what we show them is a Resolute. Then we tell them, don't buy that, but for $100 more, get the Intrepid. The Intrepid is our best-selling laptop. You can win one for free. Keep in mind that you can get, I think it's like 9 or 10 entries in the contest. All you have to do is vote for us in Best of Omaha, and then once you've done that, then you can go through and do all the reviews. If you want to review each service center, you can review Papillion, Omaha, Lincoln. We now have the Des Moines Service Center page up. So for those of you, especially those of you in Des Moines, if you love the radio show, I know it's not really, it would be disingenuous for me to ask you to review our operation in Des Moines right now. But if you want to review the radio show, that would be something that would be, I wouldn't feel bad asking you to do that. And it would allow us to get the reviews that we need on that Des Moines listing to make sure that we're getting into those Google search results in the Des Moines metro area as quickly as possible. So if you could specifically, guys, if you're going to do a review that Des Moines Service Center. They really, really need it. All the links are available to you on the page, the link that I just provided. You can click on the links there and you can vote for us in Best of Omaha. You can review all 4 service centers. You can review us on Yelp, which is huge, as long as your Yelp review gets published. So if you do use Yelp, please review us on Yelp. If you've never used Yelp before, you can get a contest entry by doing it, so it's not a bad idea. You can also like and share the Facebook post. That will give you entries as well. I've seen not a lot of sharing of the Facebook post going on. It's almost like you guys don't want it to go viral. Like it might hurt your chances to win or something. I don't know. But if you would share it, I would genuinely appreciate it. And like I said, if you don't need the laptop, I'm sure there's somebody else. If you don't need it and you win, you can say, Thor, give it to the next guy. And we'll give it to the next person. But otherwise, give it as a gift. Give it this Christmas to somebody. Laptops are going to be hard to find this Christmas. Give it as a gift. Give it to the church. Give it to somebody who needs it that can use it. All right, guys. Thanks, Ronald. I appreciate it. I try to do good, but I appreciate getting the feedback that we had a great show because it means a lot to me to make sure not only we were informative, but we were entertaining as well, because no one likes to hear, today we're going to talk about hard drives. A terabyte, you see, is not quite 1,000. Nobody wants to hear that, right? So we try to keep it entertaining and informative. All right, we'll talk to you guys again next week. Have a great week. Make sure you vote in the Best of Omaha, and we'll see you in the Service Center. We're a little slow. This is this time of year in the summer. So if you have preventative maintenance certificates that you've purchased, like in March, and you're looking to use them, now is an excellent time to bring them in, especially in the Lincoln Service Center. Turnaround times are excellent right now. We'll talk to you soon.